Hello and welcome to this lesson on the area of a circle. The area of a circle is just found by pi times the square of the radius, where the radius is just a distance from the centre point of the circle to the edge of a circle. This is sometimes written as pi times r squared, where r just means the radius, or more commonly known as pi r squared. Okay, so I'm going to go through a few examples of how to calculate the area of a circle, getting a bit more trickier as we go along. In our first example, we're asked to find the area of the circle using the radius. Well, if we look at our area of a circle equation, we can pick out from our diagram that r equals 9 centimetres. And we need r squared for our equation. So here we have r squared equals 81 centimetres squared. We just square in 9 centimetres. Right? So all we need to do now is say that the area of a circle, which I'm just going to write as A, is equal to pi multiplied by 81 centimetres squared from our formula here, which could just be written as 81 pi centimetres squared. And if we type this in the calculator, we can get an approximation of this value to be 254.469 centimetres squared, and this is the 3 decimal places. Okay, so in our next example, we're asked to use the diameter to find the area of the circle. Well, we know that the diameter is 2 times the radius because the diameter measures the distance from one side of the circle to the other side of the circle going through the centre point. So here we have the radius, or just r, as 0.5 centimetres divided by 2. We just want half of that diameter length, and this is just equal to 0.25 centimetres. Again, as from our area of a circle equation, we actually want the radius squared, or r squared, which is just 0.25 centimetres squared, which is equal to 0.0625 centimetres squared. Okay, so from our equation of the area of a circle, we just have A equals pi times r squared, which is 0.0625 centimetres squared, which can just be written as 0.0625 pi centimetres squared. Or if we type this into a calculator, we can get an approximation of 0.196 centimetres squared, and that's just the 3 decimal places. Okay, so in our third example, we're asked to find the radius using the area, and all we know is that the area of a circle is pi r squared. So in this question, we're given that the area is equal to 13 centimetres squared. So if we just drop the units for the time being to make our calculation simple, we have 13 equals pi r squared. We can rearrange this equation to get r squared equals 13 divided by pi, which is just written as 13 pi to the negative 1. Okay, so if we just keep this in exact form, that just means keeping the pi and not converting the pi to 3.14 or something like that. We can find that if we square root both sides, we get r is equal to the square root of 13 pi to the negative 1. So we have calculated our radius using the area of the circle. And if we type this into our calculator, we get that the radius is approximately 2.034 centimeters, which is to 3 decimal places. And you will find that if you use this radius here and punch it into the area of a circle formula, you will get near enough 13 centimeters squared. Or if you use this here and punch it into the formula of an area of a circle, you will get exactly 13 centimeters squared. Okay, so in our final question, it's more of an extension. We need to find the area of this more complex shape. And note, this is not to scale at all. So we know that the length here is 200 centimeters, and the radius here is 10 centimeters. And I've written out different values that we need to find to make our calculation a lot more simpler. Okay, so first of all, the radius of a semicircle. Well, we can see that the radius of a semicircle is just 10 centimeters. We can just get that directly from our diagram. The width of the rectangle, well, as the radius stays constant from the center point to the edge of the circle, we know that this value here, this line, is also going to be 10 centimeters. So the width of the rectangle is just going to be the width of this entire shape, which is 200 centimeters from here, minus the radius of this semicircle, which is 10 centimeters, which gives us 190 centimeters. Okay, the height of the rectangle. Well, again, as we know that the radius is going to stay the same from the center of the semicircle to the edge of the semicircle, the length from here to here is just going to be 10 centimeters. From here to here is just going to be 10 centimeters, and the length from here to here is just going to be 10 centimeters. So the height of the rectangle, is just 20 centimeters. It's just the diameter of that semicircle. Okay, so the area of the rectangle. We know that the area of any rectangle is just the base times the height, and we have the width of the rectangle as 190 centimeters and the height of the rectangle as 20 centimeters. So multiplying these values together, we get 190 centimeters times 20 centimeters equals, just let me move this over a little bit, equals 3,800 centimeters squared. Okay, now we need to find out the value of the semicircle. Recall that the value of a full circle is just let me move this down, the value of a full circle is pi r squared. Well, if you look here, we clearly have a semicircle, and clearly the area of a semicircle is just half of that of a full circle, as a semicircle is just half a circle. So the area of the semicircle is just going to be pi r squared divided by 2. And we know the radius, or r, is just 10 centimeters squared from the diagram and from what I've written above. So the area of the semicircle is just pi times 10 squared, that's our radius, squared, divided by 2, which is equal to 50 pi centimeters squared. Okay, so the total area of the shape is just going to be adding up the area of this rectangle, which we calculated here, and the area of this semicircle, which we calculated here. So if we write that down in one equation, we get 3,800 centimeters squared plus 50 pi centimetres squared, which if we punch this into our calculator, we get that it is equal to approximately 3,957.08 centimetres squared, and that's to 2 decimal places. Thank you for watching this lesson on calculating the area of a circle. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below or drop me an email. Thank you for watching.